Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
What's up, everyone? Hang on. Oh, there we go. How's it going, everybody? Let us know if we sound good. Our audio is all squared away. Happy Thursday. It's July 2nd. Last week, or a week or two ago, maybe last week.
A week before.
We talked about a couple things, and then we touched on Bigfoot a lot as well. Well, I felt like we needed to do it justice because there's a lot more to be said, and it really deserved a show on its own. Now we're gonna kind of veer off into some other things as well, but basically we're gonna go deep, real deep, down the gopher hole on the Florida skunk ape. So the skunk ape is Florida's version of Bigfoot, and yeah, so we're going to go through, early reports, some of the earliest reports. We're going to go through Native American legends. So the Seminole Indians, what did they have to say about it? We're going to go through some of the archaeology, show this isn't as ridiculous as some people might think. And we're going to get into some of the mystical, magical elements of the skunk ape, maybe the psychological component and some hypnosis and stuff like that. So, yeah. Juan, how are you doing, man?
Doing good, bro. How are you? I had a long day today. Pretty drained, but I'm here and I'm ready to get it on. How's your day been going?
It's been great. Weather was pretty good over here. I've just been chillaxing all day.
We've had some gnarly storms roll through, bro. Like super, super crazy. Like there was one that it was even on the news one night. I was in my room and our window lit up like completely. And you hear the thunder after, and it shook the house so much so that people on the Facebook page for the town we're in were like, "Hey, do you guys feel that? It sounded like an explosion." People were, there was conspiracies. There's something that's going on that they don't want to tell us about. But yeah, dude, it sounded like it shook the house like a sonic boom. But Florida is one of the top states for lightning strikes. And we've talked about, right? You have some crystallized sand, or what is it that you have at the store? The freaking crazy looking stone your brother showed me one time.
Oh yeah, what are they called?
I forgot the name of it, but it's like glassified freaking sand from a lightning strike.
Like lightning calcite or something.
Something crazy. Lightning struck sand, Florida rock. So it's
fulgurite.
Fulgurite. Yeah, I know you have some of those at the store. Those are freaking gnarly.
Yeah. Yeah, fulgurites are cool. I've got a video on that. All the lightning in Florida, how Florida's almost the lightning capital of the world.
Because of the quartz, right? Along the Lake Wales Ridge is a large concentration.
All that sand, all the humidity, lots of different factors. But
so I wanted to start off with this, bro, because this is how deep skunk ape goes, and I know you're gonna enjoy. I know you're gonna enjoy this one, dude. But check this out, because I did a little bit of digging. I went deeper than Wikipedia, because I know you don't like Wikipedia, but we have here. Check this out, bro. So according to Grand Theft Auto 6, GTA 6 is actually gonna have the skunk ape in it. People did like a file scan or something like that, some of the leaks, and they found that there's gonna be a skunk ape in it. Because again, I was talking about this recently on a podcast, on Mark's podcast, where let's say that there is some group of people or entities or whatever you want to call them, right? The Illuminati, whatever, that's controlling reality. Well, GTA 6 is going to be based off of a real place, right? So you have a sort of microcosm to the macro. And we know through sympathetic magic, right, that the correspondences mean a thing. So, we talked about. Do you remember the Causeway Cannibal case in 2012? Do you remember that?
Was that the guy in Miami on bath salts who ate someone?
Ate the dude's face. Yeah, he ripped
Yeah.
the dude's face, and the guy lived, bro. Can you imagine chewing somebody's face off? That when I first heard that, like that was one of the cases that like shook me. Like, damn, dude, someone's able to chew another dude's face off. That's Florida man at its core, like eating some other dude's face. So I talked about how we know what GTA is all about, and what's going to happen when things start happening in the micro. Like, how is that going to affect the macro? Like the place that it's mirrored from, right? We know it's make believe. Are they going to call it Miami? Like, is GTA 6 going to be Miami, or is
It's
it based off?
Vice City. It's like staying true to the Grand Theft Auto universe. They've had Miami games before, and they just call it Vice City. But what they're doing is instead of it just being a city like in the other games, they're making it a whole state, and it's called Leonida. So, like Ponce de Leon. So instead of Florida,
Oh,
it's Leonida or Leonida, something like that.
okay,
For
okay. So again, with sympathetic magic, let's say that they are trying to do something, like how is that going to affect our reality, even though it's already crazy? Because we've talked about this, right? Florida does something to people, especially South Florida. Have you ever, when you're in South Florida, when you're going 90 on the highway and somebody passes you doing like 120, you're like, oh, I'm in Miami.
Mhm.
This is how you know you've got, you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about, right, bro?
of course. Yeah, of course.
Dude, I say it every time. Like, dude, how are you going? And people just it's people are different in Miami. It's a different. It's another reality. You cross like a portal, like a threshold, which we'll get into later, right? Because
Oh yeah.
Florida is connected with portals and everything.
So did you see Asmongold react to my clip?
No, did he really?
Yeah,
Damn, dude, you went viral.
a little bit.
Can
Yeah.
we pull that up? Do you have that?
No, let's not watch it right now.
Come
No, no,
on,
no.
dude. I want to see it. So, what's it
No, no,
called?
no, no. It's on 7-Eleven stream. We'll
Oh,
we'll
you'll
talk
pull it up
about
on
it.
the 7-Eleven show. All right, all right.
Yeah, we'll watch it on 7-Eleven. We're doing a show.
Damn, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, bro. Cloud much, but
So, what were you saying? Yeah. So, yeah, Leonida is the place. Could put a Florida twist on its cryptid Easter egg. So, yeah, there's gonna be because apparently in Red Dead Redemption there is a Bigfoot, and there's gonna be a skunk ape in GTA 6, dude. Whenever that comes out,
definitely might be some squallies too.
that'd be sick. That's
Well,
the real true cryptid of Florida that they don't want you to know about, the Florida squallies. But yeah, this is the website I was telling you about, dude, where the Bigfoot field researchers I found this website has a list by states of, and I'm surprised there's only 22 sightings, at least on this website in Alaska. You'd think that there'd be more. Alaska is such a remote
mhm.
area.
They just don't have computers or internet to report them.
They don't have enough satellite internet or Wi-Fi or anything. But yeah, Florida has 348, which on this list, there's Illinois at 305, Michigan at 227, and then you have Ohio at 335. So it's actually the top, well, aside from California, because California also has a lot of mountains. And there was even that documentary, I don't know if you saw it, where it was there was a group of people doing an illegal grow operation and
Mhm.
supposedly a Bigfoot took them out. You ever see that documentary?
No.
It was like on Murder Mountain. So Bigfoot, California murder doc. So it's called Sasquatch. And let's see
Okay.
if it has a
It's
anyways, yeah, watch
about
it.
weed farmers?
Yes. that supposedly they took us. So the show begins investigation of a story he heard in 1993 on a cannabis farm in Mendocino County, part of Emerald Triangle in Northern California. And Holt House heard someone say that Bigfoot again. So it was a he said, she said sort of thing. You know, one of my cousin's friends said this, that a Bigfoot had killed 3 people on a nearby cannabis farm.
Mhm.
And he goes and he does interviews and stuff like that. So
It was the fucking cartel, and they just blamed it on a Bigfoot.
pretty much, bro. I mean, what a better way. And they've talked about that before too, where I don't know if you remember, not long ago, there was the
Not long ago.
not long ago, there was the face peelers in Peru. Did you see that?
Um, no. What the fuck? Face peelers?
Yeah, the face peelers. So in the Amazon, where locals claim to be attacked by 7 foot tall armored beings. You never heard about that? This is recently. This is
No.
2023.
No.
Hey, shout out to Five Leaf Clover.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. So yeah, this was one of the face peelers of Peru, and supposedly they were mining something in the area, and the cartel, again trying to control it,
Mm,
had gunned some people down or did something crazy to them to
mm,
scare them away. And I mean, if you think about it, like imagine how sophisticated a people in the Amazonian rainforest or something, or in the part of the rainforest are, they're probably very superstitious. So if they see something so advanced that they don't understand what it is, oh hey, it's predator, right? These seven
mhm.
foot tall beings that were trying to take us out. So I
Michelle
mean,
Michelle Obama looking.
you see that UFC fighter that
Michael? Michael?
in front of the White House when he won?
Michael?
He was
Yeah, I
like,
saw
Michelle
it.
Obama's a man.
That was cringe.
Yeah, it was. That whole thing was cringe, dude. Like, in what reality are we living in where there is a UFC fight in
Yeah.
front of the White House?
Dude, in 2 days, if there's ever gonna be like a mothership alien false flag, it's gonna be like 2 days from now on July 4th. That's what
Uh,
people are saying.
no, there was a Brazilian psychic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or forget that. All right, let's talk about the Bigfoot. All right, let's talk about the skunk ape. We can save this stuff for the end.
Go go
Okay,
go. All right,
we don't need the fucking Brazilian butt doctor psychic telling us about. Come on,
all right, all right. So what do you
yeah,
got?
man. We got Brazilian psychics walking in here every day, just
Brazilian or Brazilian Tengu?
shooting from the hip. Yeah, exactly.
You
So,
guys, you guys got a lot of Tengus in the store?
oh yeah, totally,
Oh snap!
totally. I'm sitting in the Kabbalah section right now, actually, for real. But so I know we talked about the skunk ape last episode, but without digging too deep, let's pose the question to the audience. Where do you guys, or when do you guys think the the history of the Florida skunk ape begins? Right? If you had to guess. Not digging deep, where do you think we would start this story? Well, Google searching, you'll probably get told by AI or something. Oh yeah. 60s, 70s, 80s, the 70s especially. That's when reports started coming out of ape men, skunk ape, swamp ape, all that stuff. These started coming out in the 1970s. Now, for those who'd say, "Oh, this is just a recent phenomena. This is just the white man's fantasy, right, in a new world, in a foreign land." Um, Except, like we mentioned, the Seminole Indians themselves have legends of this creature. So, and indigenous people all over the world have legends of similar creatures, if not the same. So there's a couple dimensions, a couple angles to this to this whole thing, right? If it's a delusion, it's a delusion that the Indians suffer from as well. Um, but
Is
all
it
right,
tradition though, bro? Because I'm a skeptic when it comes to a lot of these things. And I don't know if you saw that there is a documentary called, I think it's called Finding Bigfoot, where it debunks the
yeah,
Patterson Gimlin footage. Did you see that?
no,
It's
I
not out
heard that
yet,
I heard
but
the
it
famous footage has been debunked,
debunked.
but yeah, I don't really care. It's not Florida.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's one of the strongest cases for
We're
Bigfoot, bro.
I don't think so. See, to
No?
me, video evidence is not like the most compelling part of it. To me, the Native Americans having legends uh, is the same. That's like to me the most convincing part of it. But whatever. So people were throwing out some dates. Well, let's go through some articles maybe. The oldest, if you keyword search skunk ape, the oldest, earliest thing you can come across is 1971 or 1972 in Florida newspapers, at least the ones that are on record, right? So this is one of the earliest articles I could find.
You know who we need to pull something up like this for us?
Who?
Is his name Ben?
Yeah.
Where he's like he goes super hard on the articles and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Ooh.
man. We'll do a show with him soon. So this is 1971, August 9th. This is one of the earliest, like, I don't want to say validated, but kind of substantiated um, skunk ape, sightings reports. And I don't think the name skunk ape was around yet. So they were calling it ape man. Now, some people say skunk ape was a term used in the 60s, but in the 70s, it definitely came to prominence. Around 1972, it became like the preferred term for Florida Bigfoots. And let's read here. The headline reads Big Cypress Ape Man to be object of hunt. Tibet has its abominable snowman. Oregon has its Bigfoot. Now Florida has its skunk ape. Claims an amateur archaeologist. He says he's going to try to catch an ape man that lives in Big Cypress Swamp. It's made a believer out of me, says H.C. Osbin, a member of the Peninsular Archaeological Society. Osbin said he saw a 7-foot tall, 700-pound creature in the Big Cypress last February. There were 5 of us at the time, and for years we had heard rumors about some kind of ape man running loose in the swamp. I never paid much attention to the rumors, but I believed them after seeing that critter last spring, he said. So yeah, 1971 is kind of the first ape man, skunk ape sighting, but and this starts like a whole series of sightings from this point onward. It's almost every month, right? Multiple times a year, every single year. But there are articles that go way, way earlier than this. So if you go to the skunk ape Wikipedia page, it'll tell you 1818. Is that right? They say
Yes.
1818 in Apalachicola.
Man-sized monkey raiding a supply store or something like that.
Right. Okay. So we can check back in on this article if we need to. So you see the word skunk ape was used here. So correction, I said maybe it wasn't invented yet, but it was. Skunk ape.
You think that like a lot of these newspapers coin a lot of these words, right? That's where a lot of these legends get their names from when someone puts out like an article or something about it, calls it. and then
Mhm.
that kind of spreads down and continues. And then people say, I mean, obviously people say it stinks when when they see, because if you think about it, a big animal, hairy, it's probably sweating all day long. It probably smells like a wet rug. So I, I mean, that's right, skunk ape. Have you ever smelled a skunk?
Not up close. I mean, I've smelt some things out in the wild that I've suspected were like a skunk spray, but I've never
I've always
smelt
been
like a skunk.
curious to what it smells like.
Yeah.
Anyone in the chat ever smelled a skunk before?
So this article came from the same time period or the same day, pretty much, just another newspaper, and there were dozens and dozens of articles about this. So this shows the name skunk ape was, became prominent around this time.
Is
And
there a
this
strain named skunk ape?
is there what?
A strain?
Yeah, that's pretty. There's got to be.
So it's yeah, so skunk ape. Well, there's one here. Potent indica dominant strain created by crossing Las Vegas purple Kush and original glue.
Say it like that again. Kush.
Vegas purple Kush, bro. Named after Florida's mythical swamp cryptid. Okay. All
Mhm.
right. We got to get some of that skunk ape on the next meetup, dude.
Dude, I'm
It's
about to go.
indica though.
I'm about to go ape off that skunk.
I'm about to get real lazy, dude. Because 85% indica. Oof. Couch potato.
Mhm. Now, here's another one. This is maybe the first like footprint found in Florida,
See, what do you think that is, dude? Do
something
you
like
think
that.
it's actual footprint or like
I don't know. I don't care.
pareidolia where they see a footprint, right?
This
It just so
dude, the fucking wife and the kids has just been getting on this guy's case. This guy just needs a break, break from
this guy's
the
just out
fucking
there.
life. This guy's you. This guy's you 50 years
No,
ago.
no, he's just
He's
out
just
there,
off.
dude.
He's just
Uh,
off looking. He doesn't care.
this guy's just out there freaking casting Bigfoot. Like, honey, I just want to go and cast some footprints out in the woods, man. What do you want from me? Oh man.
Yeah,
So let's say that there, because right, can we talk a little bit about the history of Florida as far as how far back Florida could have had people on it to where maybe, perhaps maybe this is some sort of long lost species of an evolution of a sort of humanoid or an actual, like, because a lot of people say, oh, there it's like a there's like 5 different types and species of Bigfoot roaming around the Everglades, which the Everglades again is thousands and hundreds of thousands of acres of open land that, I mean, a lot of things happen in the middle of nowhere.
yeah. Okay, so that'll be the next thing we do. We'll kind of lay out why it's not that ridiculous of an idea that something like this could be living in Florida or once lived in Florida. But first, let's go through some old articles. We could go through a million articles from the 70s, the 80s, and all that stuff. And we will get through some more. But let's go through the earliest written record of this type of creature in Florida. Now, if you go to Wikipedia, it'll tell you 1818. Um, it'll tell you 1818 from Apalachicola. Now, that's true, but you can't really find a record for it. Someone wrote it in their book. So that's according to the author, Robert C. Robinson.
Tripping Legends.
Yeah, can you pull that book up so we can look at it?
Give me a little bit to find it.
In his book, or in one of his books, he writes, quote, "The first recorded sighting of an unknown primate was in 1818. The sighting occurred at Apalachicola of a 5-foot baboon-like figure. End quote. So that's according to Robert C. Robinson, the author. But going through the newspaper articles, I couldn't find any evidence for that. Now, again, that could simply be because no one had English newspapers in 1818 in Florida. It was Spanish territory up until 1821. So maybe in Spanish newspapers there was, but from the resources available to me, I couldn't find anything. Now, that would be corroborated by the next earliest account, which was 1840. So I did find this. This is 1840 from the Freeman and Messenger, 1840, May 7th. So this article reads, the Apalachicola, so same location as the 1818 report. The Apalachicola Gazette states that the habitation of some unknown animal has just been discovered in the upper part of that city, which has given rise to many strange conjectures. The animal at the time of the discovery was in it, but made its escape. It is said by those who saw it to resemble somewhat the baboon, and, and from the size of the nest it is judged to be 5 feet in height, and of a carnivorous description, as many bones were found about the premises. The nest was, hang on. The nest was nicely made of loose cotton between several bales. So that's the earliest record I could find of an ape-like creature in Florida being reported. But there were some other ones that aren't on Wikipedia that I did some digging.
I
Oh,
found
there
that
you go.
book.
Nice.
So he talks about the term skunk ape actually originated in Arkansas in the late 1800s, but when early settlers came to Florida and reported a strange primate-like creature prowling the forests and swamps and its nauseous smell, it too was called the skunk ape. Some cryptozoologists refer to it as the swamp ape. The Seminoles refer to it as Esti Kapkaki, cannibal giant, and one town in Florida calls it the Barden booger. The skunk ape
Yeah.
is pretty widely known here in Florida, et cetera, et cetera. And you know what's interesting? That I tried looking around to see if there was any reports of the conquistadors like talking about any sightings of anything like this, and there's really none because you would
Yeah.
expect them, right? Because they came to Florida when it was as primal as it gets.
And what you said, Arkansas, was
Yeah,
where
it
the
says
name
here
comes from?
Arkansas.
So, real quick on Arkansas, Arkansas is the only state mentioned by name in the Bible.
What?
Yeah.
Well,
You didn't
what's
know
no?
you
What's
didn't
so
you
special
didn't
about Arkansas?
you didn't know this?
No, I didn't. It was news to me.
Genesis chapter 8:13. Okay. Noah then removed the covering from the ark and saw that the surface of the ground was dry.
8:13, you
Uh,
said?
I took that from someone on TikTok or something.
Oh, there you go. From the Arkansas. And the surface of the ground was dry. Nice.
Yeah.
I see
Oh
what
yeah.
you did there. Is there a Florida one by any chance? The floor and the something?
Well, Juan, it's interesting you say, "Oh, there's no reports." The conquistador said there's no reports. Well, hang on. Let's slow down.
Wait,
Okay.
reported, right? Like
Yeah. Surviving today that we could read.
I just
Um,
looked up on Wikipedia, so I mean that's what I know.
yeah. Well, they did see some strange creatures when they got here. Okay. Many of the Indians, when the Spanish first arrived, did cranial modification, meaning they had the elongated skulls, the huge, crazy skull shapes. Most of them had the long, like Inca shape, elongated skull, but some of them had literally megamind heads. I'm not even kidding. There were
Yeah,
Indians in Florida that had like butt crack heads,
nice.
like a heart, to like two lobes to the like two brains in the head. And some of those come from over here, like Boynton Beach, Palm Beach.
Which you had
These
some of that,
these
some of those
skulls.
pictures, right?
Yeah, I've got a couple videos on like elongated skulls, and so there were some freaky creatures when the conquistadors got here. There's also, you know, when pigs in a single lifetime, a pig can go from having no hair to being let out in the wild, and it can grow hair just by being exposed to the wild and smelling the soil and the rain and hearing the insects. It stimulates its primal,
Really?
software to kind of like start amping up its wild, more wild
That's a
features.
good point though, dude, because think about that, right? What you're saying, because I didn't know that, where that could happen to some sort of, again, subspecies of humanoid, where being in the wild sort of thing can, dare I say, turn you into a Bigfoot. You know, like while you're out there, you kind of become more primal.
And there are many like religious or mythological legends about that, where they say, "Oh, in monkeys are just humans who got cursed and ran into the trees, or were too cowardly, so they ran to the trees." You know, stuff like that. There are lots of accounts like that. But there's also the other way around. You know, what we're going to talk about tonight is like, what are Neanderthal? What are Bigfoot? What could Bigfoot be Neanderthal or some missing link type thing? Um, we're gonna get to that, but let's get through a couple more articles here. You know what? We should run through the videos again too, so people can see,
Yeah, I
spark
got a video here.
spark their imagination a little bit. Um, Now the next article comes in 1884. So in the skunk ape chronology, this would be next, I guess. This is from the Daily Gazette, 1884. What is that? August 27th. A wild man captured in Ochese Swamp near Chattahoochee and carried to Tallahassee. So this is the same area as Apalachicola, pretty much. The Chattahoochee flows into
The
the
Garden of
Appalachian.
Eden.
Exactly. It's the same area. So the three earliest skunk ape reports, wild man, all come out of the Apalachicola Garden of Eden area. I don't know. If God did make some of those, maybe they would be left behind in that area. Um, Wild man captured in Ochese Swamp near Chattahoochee and carried to Tallahassee had been swimming in Ochese Lake from island to island, and when taken, was entirely destitute of clothing, emaciated, and entirely covered with a phenomenal growth of hair. He could give no account of himself, and the theory is that he escaped from an asylum in some other state. Wild man covered in hair. Like we were saying, maybe humans can revert to something more animalistic when they're stuck out in the wild.
I think so, and a lot of these, like for example, the Wendigo or the Watiko, a lot of these stories, and it is like a sort of transformation, almost like a, because if you think about it, a Bigfoot, I mean, I know it's different, but a werewolf, right? A werewolf is what? Half man, and then he turns into a wolf either through occult means or how some of these legends say, for example, the Wendigo, which we talked about, Wendy's and the KFC conspiracy and all that stuff. Maybe that's by design, where if you, according to the Watiko, is you need to consume human flesh and then you turn into this entity, this being. So again, what if this is some sort of ritualistic sort of thing where somebody turns into it. Maybe, yeah, I mean, definitely. I think that's part of it too.
Hmm. So, you guys, real quick, let's run through some footage so you guys can catch up and decide for yourself if any of this footage is real. Could this really be a human who's reverted back to some primal
And
state?
don't Google hairy man Florida, all right?
Uh, so, guys, this is from the Smithsonian Magazine YouTube channel. Video is called Dave Shealy's 2000 skunk ape footage.
They're trustworthy, right? The Smithsonian?
Oh, we're gonna get to them. We got some stuff to say about them later on too. All right, boom. Let's see it.
This is the famous Sheely footage we watched
Mm-hmm.
a few weeks back where it gets very close. Some people have said this is a man in a suit. And it must have been during the summer because it's 7:19, 7:20 p.m. and it's still, oh, it is July 8th. Look at that. We're almost at the anniversary, dude.
Mm,
So that dude was sweating his balls off in that suit.
for real. So this clip has got no sound. You're only halfway through this.
Yeah, it gets crazy close and then it starts ducking, starts fronting. Yeah, for the audio listeners, we're watching this blurry footage of some humanoid walking in the middle of the Everglades, allegedly, according to David Shealy, who runs the Skunk Ape Research Center in Florida in the Everglades. Which I talked about, if we're able to find this footage and if somebody can AI stabilize it so we can see it better. Yeah, look at that thing, dude.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys think?
I think it's
Comment and let us know. Is that just a black? Is that just a criminal
Didn't
on the
see it.
run?
I love how you switched it up there, bro. Is that
I almost flipped up.
we're about to get canceled, dude?
I just had a slight hiccup there.
Oh man. Let's see
But
here.
here's another popular video we already watched last week, but give you guys the benefit of seeing it if you didn't before. This is from Josh Highcliffe YouTube channel. Video is called "I Think I Saw a Skunk Ape. Please help."
Yeah, this was the creepiest one I think I've seen.
You think so?
Yeah, this is the more convincing one that we saw. Cause what is that, dude? And it's ripping that like tree apart.
It's Michelle Obama. This
Just chilling.
it's big. It's strong. It's definitely moving that tree.
Yeah, dude. Oh, dude,
So,
I found the David Shealy. I think this video is real, dude. All right, so I found David Shealy stabilized. Okay, so this is it stabilized.
shout out the channel and the video name.
So the channel is, I found it on a so let's see here. It's on the channel Green Wave 2010 FB. So this was 13 years ago. Shout out to them. And here we go. So this is it stabilized, which is what I was telling you about. Because I mean, although it was filmed, see, that's better. That's way better. Unless the AI got in there and did some stuff to it.
Kind of looks like a suit.
Yeah, dude, I think it is a suit. I mean, that's what a lot of people said. Because what a better thing for this guy who runs the Skunk Ape Research Center. This was shot like right outside his property or something like that. Like, what a better thing for him. Like, oh snap, hey, and people they sell, dude. They sell like tours and stuff
Oh,
where
yeah.
people go out into the Everglades and they take them, Sasquatching, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it does look like a person just in a heavy suit. Just look at it.
It kind of looks like there's like fabric under his armpit.
Yes, exactly.
Doesn't look like a. Yeah, too skinny. But dude, you want to know what's crazy? Okay. I've seen a lot of not a lot of bears, but I've seen bears in the wild like 5 times. Right.
In
And
Florida?
twice in Florida, black bears. And then maybe 2 more black bears in North Carolina. And then a brown bear in like New Hampshire or somewhere. It was really far away though.
I've seen some in Tennessee for sure.
But the first one I saw in North Carolina when I was driving, the ones I saw in Florida were huge. They were big. They were out in the Everglades and they were fat, like big. The first one I saw in North Carolina on the Appalachian near the Appalachian Trail, I literally thought it was a kid in a costume. I was driving and it was in the road in front of me, across the road in front of me. And I slowed down and it didn't move out of the way that fast. It just kind of hung out for a sec. It was walking mostly on 2 legs. And it looked like a kid in a baggy costume. It looked like a kid in a baggy costume. Like it looked like the skinny arms were like poking through. And then it got on all fours and ran off into the woods. And I was like, oh shit, that is a an actual bear.
Yeah, let's look at the picture you had sent me a few weeks back where it shows allegedly a Bigfoot, and it was from Florida. So is this? Yeah, this is the one right here. So I think this is an AI enhanced. This is the original here. But I mean, does that look like a bear to you, or it
A
does kind of look
gorilla.
like? Yeah, it looks
That's
like a
a
gorilla, right?
that's a gorilla. Now,
So
dude, that's what we're going to talk about too is how many monkey farms there have been throughout Florida's history and how some of these sightings might just be monkeys that got away. In Apalachicola area, the Garden of Eden area was almost the location of a huge monkey farm,
yes,
like a lab. And there is a big one over there in
is
Georgia, I
Mike
think.
Obama on vacation?
Oh, Michael Obama on vacation.
People are bad, dude. People are bad. All right. So, anyways, but yes, there are species of monkeys that live in Florida.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. So this is from Skunk Ape 925 YouTube channel. This is Florida Bigfoot 2008 Mayaka Skunk Ape. Let's watch. one's got no sound.
See, but
Either.
that can be an animal. Like that can be a bear, right?
I don't know. Oh, yeah, we're gonna watch some Lloyd Pie in a sec. I've
What the
got some Lloyd
hell's
Pie queued up. We got lots of good stuff queued up.
what the hell's that? Lloyd Pie. Oh, that guy.
So here, let's watch another one. This is stabilized footage. It's from the Artist YouTube channel. Skunk Ape Bigfoot from Lettuce Lake Park, Florida, stabilized. Let's see how this looks like.
Yo, check that comment out. What?
Hang on. Monkey Farms. Here, let's watch this. Put that away for a sec. See that on the left side?
Yeah.
So, you got to ask, would someone really put on a suit like that and stomp around in knee-high, waist-high water?
Yeah, I know a couple of people who would, bro.
Yeah. Good point.
And let's not forget too, right? So talking about monkeys in Florida, one of the places I haven't been to, which I always drive by the exit down in Homestead, is the monkey jungle. Have you ever been to this place, dude?
No.
So it's a 30-acre primatarium and zoological park. This is in South Miami, so near Homestead. Established in 1933, dude.
Oh,
For the exhibition and study of endangered monkeys and semi-natural habitats after releasing 6 Java macaques into a subtropical forest. The park is now home to over 300 primates. So I've never been here. I don't know if anyone in the comments has ever been here. But 1933, bro, it's been open for a minute. I'm sure it's kind of sad, right? Because I mean, monkeys are kind of like,
dude, you hear about the sloths?
yes, dude. I was about to buy tickets to go,
Not
and
anymore.
there was a ton that died.
Too slow.
There was a ton that died, bro.
Yeah, like 50 of them or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Something
So a lot.
crazy.
Yeah, the sloth was a sloth world in Orlando. I was gonna take the kids, dude, and then when that popped off, they had them in a warehouse without like air conditioning, and there was that cold front that came through. Remember that one week it was super cold, that all the plants died and everything, and they got cooked. Yeah, that is my spirit animal, the sloth. So, yeah, this place has been accused of mistreatment before. That's how I heard about it because my wife told me about it. After Hurricane Irma impacted many parts of Florida, 4 former employees accused a monkey jungle of animal abuse and mistreatment. They had photographic evidence of terrible enclosure conditions for May, an orangutan that was 32 years old, rotten foliage and feces all throughout the enclosure, as well as on May herself.
They should see my house. Just kidding.
So, I mean, it's right. What was that one place that had the dolphin in Miami as well?
SeaWorld?
No, not SeaWorld. There was the Miami aquarium place that got shut down too.
Okay.
I forgot the name of it. It's called Miami Seaquarium.
Yeah.
That was the one that supposedly had that whale where it was like by itself for a long time. So let's see if they have pictures here. There was yeah, this whale right here. And they just had videos of it just swimming in a tiny pool. Lolita, famed killer whale at Miami Seaquarium, dies. 57 years old. These animals live for such a long time.
Mhm.
And then you can't release them into the wild because they don't know how to survive. Right? They've been in captivity for so long. You're just putting them out to their death.
Like
But yeah, look how tiny that place was, dude.
like sea pandas.
Sea pandas.
Bad joke.
Oh.
All right.
Oh well. Yeah,
Back to the
can't.
skunk.
Yeah.
Back to the skunk apes.
Do it.
Here's 2 more videos, then that's all of the credible videos or kind of popular videos. So this is Sasquatch Alliance YouTube channel, Land O'Lakes skunk ape footage. Let's watch.
Orlando Lakes. That's pretty close by.
All right, just show us the thing.
Yeah, look at that quality, dude.
Pretty bad on this. Watch some ISIS.
What are you watching, dude? What is that?
My algo's fire, dude.
Dude, straight up.
Look at that. That's a pretty good picture.
Yeah, it's from the Skunk Ape Research Center.
Dude, hell yeah. I built this algo brick by brick.
Brick by brick. What is that? John Jones versus what? Dude, somebody take AI away from that person, please.
It's like Ukraine war footage. All right. Here's another one. This is the brown footage from the YouTube channel Bigfoot Stacy.
Hey, shout out to Bigfoot Stacy.
You know them?
It's the guy I told you about. I had him on the show like 3 or 4 times.
Nice. All right. Oh, this is thermal, like a drone or something.
No, is this the Stacy footage in the Mayaka? Yeah, the brown.
Guess.
I'm sorry, the brown footage. So his dad filmed this with him.
I'm hearing a brown note right now.
Yeah. Yeah, rewind it. Oh, well, they're going to slow it down. Look at that thing. That's like the perfect example of, like, we always see a silhouette of Bigfoot. That's exactly what it looks like. It's like crossing over, you know? I don't know, dude. Are you a believer in skunk ape or like Bigfoot in general? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, not to start off with, definitely not. But after looking a lot into Florida, it's real in some way. It's as real as UFOs are. There is some explanation, and I'm not saying just like a rational explanation, but there is some truth to it.
Because you brought up a good point earlier, which I didn't consider. It's like, it's not a delusion if the indigenous people were talking about it to a certain extent, which I know you've brought up some new research on that of what they believed it could do. And it's more of a psychological sort of phenomenon where, right? Because like if the hell's that?
I don't know.
You got some poltergeist activity happening over at the store, dude?
No, it sounded like almost like a firework or a pop outside.
So what you were saying, like if they're crazy, then we're all crazy, right? It's like, because we've again, even though I'm not a guy that
my brother, like we talked about last time, my brother is kind of a proponent of the theory that UFOs are like a projection of the future or man's ideas of what the future might be like. And Bigfoot is like a projection of the past or what we think the past might be like. UFOs are like humanity in the future. Bigfoot is like humanity in the past. Or perhaps just what we've been convinced humanity will be like and was like. But yeah, my brother definitely thinks it's more of like a psychological thing. Not saying that it isn't real, but it's more of like a Jungian archetype, or it's semi-real. It lives in the fairy realm or something like that. So
Fair enough. Yeah, I can get behind that idea. I like that.
now let's hear from the Seminoles. Now, a lot of the articles that you're going to find about Bigfoot say, oh, the Seminoles called it this, the Seminoles called it that. And they did have a word for it. In Florida, they call it, Juan mentioned it earlier, Esti Kapkaki. Okay. Um, Now the females, the name they had for those was Esti Bukaki, and those were actually said to be white colored instead of um no, never
I
mind.
thought you were serious for a second. I was like, oh damn, they have a name for the female too.
No, no, no. But Esti Kapkaki,
Oh, my side hurts, dude. Shut
um
up.
Esti Kapkaki is the Seminole Indian word for it. Um
Oh, hey yo, what? Oh man.
yeah. Someone's tripping outside. Someone's like acting like a cat outside. Yeah, there's like this weird heavy metal, like punk rock bar across the street, and they've always got like tattooed people and like furries and like people on leashes and shit. They do like BDSM nights and stuff. Some weird shit.
Oh, you've just heard, you've never participated, bro? You just heard they do that? Is that how you know?
I've heard the shrieks emanating from the lair, from the dungeon. But all right, here we're gonna watch. This is a little snippet from a documentary all about Bigfoot. It's not Florida based, but they interview Seminole Indians, and the Seminole Indians do originate from Florida. So they're in Oklahoma here, but all right, let's go hear from the Seminoles. Here we go. All right.
Here in Oklahoma had so far produced some interesting but inconclusive results. The team had already come across something in the river bottoms near Adair, and something large was moving around the cabin in the Kiamichi Mountains. But there was nothing to prove that this had been Bigfoot activity and not a bear or a hog. In a final effort to help solve this mystery, they contacted the local Seminole Indian tribe. Bigfoot is well known to them. In fact, they believe that there is more than one.
One is called T'Chupko, which means tall man. And he was a tall, Bigfoot-like creature with grayish brown.
How, Ron Jeremy.
Pair bow legs, bro.
Yeah, he. Never mind.
Got a sweet haircut on him.
Yeah, Ron Jeremy. Pair of bow legs.
Down hair, and about 9 to 10 feet tall in that area. There's also one that appears usually in the morning time called Ihoza, which means forget. And that's what this being or creature, animal, makes you do, is forget.
So there we go. Our first attestation of it being like having hypnotic powers, right? From the Indians themselves.
Very UFO like, right?
The Sanch 30 with $20 says, loved your appearance on tinfoil hat and love your astrology sun sign vids. I learned so much, it was forever life changing. I wanted to ask if you're still flat post TFE or not. Never heard your take on it. Flat Earth and TFE, you mean like the final experiment? Yeah, I'm still flat. The final experiment didn't do anything for me. Didn't really mean shit to me. All they did was they found a couple flat earthers who claimed that you couldn't see the um,
The
what do they call
24-hour
it?
sun.
24-hour sun in the southern hemisphere or Antarctica. And all they did was they found a couple of guys who made that claim and then brought them somewhere, maybe even not Antarctica or the southern hemisphere, and pretty much just showed to them or proved them wrong based off the claims they made. That whole thing did not prove the shape of the earth, did not, it did not prove anything really. I'm not going to say hoax 100%, but phew, I mean, who's going to pay just to bring a couple of idiots down to Antarctica just to prove them wrong, like that's some next level spite. That's some next level told you so. But and I've gone on Witsit's show a couple times or like done conferences with him and gone on his show once, and I think he's a good guy from everything I've seen, and he's always been good to me. But I don't know, he claims there was no funny business at all. So I don't really care. It didn't really sway me in any direction. What do you guys think?
I thought it was interesting.
Well, thanks, Sanch. The Sanch 30. Appreciate you. What's up, y'all? We got 420 in the chat. Make sure you're smoking on
Hey.
something good. Make sure you twist up a little bit of that skunk ape.
I'm
Okay.
serious, dude. I want to get some.
You know what they
Hey.
call me, Juan? You know what they call me?
What do they call you?
No, guys, you know what they call Juan?
What do they call me, bro?
The dung beetle. Because
Wow.
he rolls up that stinky. All right. He be rolling up that stank. All right.
That stank, bro.
So make sure you're packing up some skunk ape kush.
Told you next time I go down there, we're gonna smoke a bowl. We're gonna go live. We're gonna chop it up.
Then we're gonna deal with your anxiety attack.
Yeah, I do get a little anxious. Oh, dude, the other day I drank. It'd been a while since I'd done anything, and I drank this lemonade that I got at the store that was infused with 10 milligrams, and it made me Google if 10 milligrams was a lot. Because I was about to freak out a little bit. Not gonna lie. I was watching the new Avatar, the latest Avatar movie.
You were sipping some of that Mike's Tard lemonade.
And I was having a little bit of difficulty keeping it together, bro. I was like, man, this is kind of intense a little bit. I should have just drank half of it instead of the whole thing. Next week I'll drink some on air.
All right, let's keep watching this. See what these engines got to say.
Oh, dude, hold on
woven
one
into their
second.
legends,
There's a Hispanic food brand that's called Goya, bro.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, but isn't that like a Spanish word? Isn't that just like the owner's last name or something?
Is it?
But it is funny because Trump, he like endorsed Goya brand, like endorsed Trump. It was like the only food brand rocking with Trump. So
yeah,
maybe there's
yeah,
maybe there is something there.
Yeah, so Goya Foods was founded in 1936 by Spanish immigrants, Prudencio Unanu and his wife. Let's see, he's probably Spanish and something else, brother. Oh, migrated from Spain to Puerto Rico.
Ooh.
Okay. Let's see, first generation. The search of employment. Okay, go ahead, just play it. Fine.
All right.
Indians believe that Bigfoot is a real flesh and blood creature that also has hypnotic powers.
They have magic. Magic able to disappear. Because even when the non-natives, they chase this thing, I noticed that the natives, that the Indian people, when we see it, we kind of get scared of it. But still, we don't bother it.
He lives underground, and he comes out only at nighttime. He doesn't. If you put a light on them, they'll disappear in the woods. They even had helicopters, to look for it. They never did find it, and it just disappeared in the river bottom.
And so it knows it's in danger, and it uses its magic to get away. A part of a hypnosis stage that it puts people in, and to where it could be standing right there in front of you, and you.
Yep.
Bro, that just sounds like some really good weed.
That's
Like
some,
it puts
yeah,
you in
dude.
a
I was just gonna
trance.
say that, dude. Fuck.
It puts you in a trance, brother. These
Yeah.
people are smoking on that pipe, and they're just like,
For real. With that peace pipe, he's like, it puts you in hypnosis. It could live underground.
you start hearing sounds of that. Oh man.
Yeah.
Still wouldn't see it. It could be standing right there in front of you, and you still wouldn't see it.
All right, that's definitely weed. Because when I smoke some Kush and I put my keys down and they're right there in front of me, okay, like they disappear. Everything I put down for a sec disappears. So it's definitely some skunk.
Tim Harjo agreed, along with his son Kanjat, to take our crew deep into the Kayamishi Mountains. The following morning, they start trekking to an area where he claims he's seen the creature many times.
All right, we don't need to see all that. But yeah, so the Seminole Indians, who, half of them, or maybe more than half, I forget, a lot of them live out in Oklahoma today.
Really?
Yeah. So they're from Georgia, South Georgia, North Florida, and they're also parts of other tribes from around Florida who got, fragmented, and they banded together into one tribe. And so there are, Calusa and Timucua. There is some of that blood in the Seminoles. Seminoles are like a confederacy of tribes that got together. But they're from North Florida, South Georgia. And the ones in Florida today are the ones who never surrendered. The ones who took the deal with the government went out to Oklahoma and got big, big reservation lands. So these are the ones out in Oklahoma, but still, the ones in Florida also have this Bigfoot tradition. They call it Esti Kapkaki in Florida. He called it something else here in Oklahoma. Close though.
What's interesting that the community a little bit is kind of torn between the two, right? Some people think of it like a flesh and blood sort of thing, and then half the people are like, no, this is supernatural. This is why it can't be spotted. It does all these things to you. So there's like two camps, and then there's people who mix it both together, where it's like, oh, it's both, right? It's like this sort of thing from the past that is talked about, like almost like a Nephilim, half Nephilim sort of thing. Which, can we talk a little bit about, right? Because whenever I look at the pictures of the French with the Timucua, I think Nephilim, I think giants, but also we gotta understand that the Spanish and the people who came over there, they were small peoples, right? Like they weren't the biggest.
Not really. I mean, not entirely. Now the average may have been a little shorter, but
how tall was Juan Ponce de Leon? Let's see.
He was short, but he was a short man. Okay, he was like 5 foot tall.
Bro, no, look at this. This is AI. Historians estimate Spanish explorer Juan Ponce de Leon was approximately 4'11", dude. What?
Yeah,
it was a short king.
It could be, but search up, search up, who's another good one? Pedro Menendez.
Pedro Menendez.
Look up his height.
Menendez de Aviles height.
Yeah.
So 5'5".
Okay. I mean, that's still
They were
short.
kind of small, bro. Not
But
gonna
here,
lie.
no, here. I'm trying to think of this one. Narvaez was tall. Look up Panfilo de Narvaez.
All right, you're gonna have to spell that out for me, bro.
Dude, you're fucking Spanish. I'm not spelling that shit out to you.
No.
Panfilo.
Say
You
it a
speak
little bit,
Spanish.
a little slower. Go ahead.
Panfilo. What does that mean? Bread lover?
Panfil, I don't know.
Yes, you speak Spanish. Break it down.
Pan is bread, and then
Bread.
filo. What the hell? I don't know what that filo.
Philo.
That's
Philo.
edge. Filo, edge.
Okay.
Bread
Well,
edge.
I mean, in Greek it means love. Maybe Latin, I forget.
So Panfilo what?
Panfilo Narvaez. Narvaez.
Bro, Panfilo de Narvaez. Yeah, you're right. All right.
He was
Golly.
tall. He was like 6'2".
6'2".
There you go. Okay. So he wasn't a giant. He was an average sized. He was a above average sized guy, still within the range of today's,
The Temuco were over 6 feet, though, right?
Yeah. At the bare
And
minimum.
their hair, yeah, I guess, right? Their hair would be so archaeological evidence shows the actual average height was closer to 5'4". Because I want to bring this up here because we've talked about it before.
Fake
You
news.
brought up
Total fake news.
Well, I think it's from the Smithsonian, is it? No, it's
No.
National Park Service. Anyways, so check this out. This is from 1927. Giant skeletons are uncovered in Florida, Tampa, Florida. Giant Indians who roamed Florida swamps 500 years ago or more, living on shell foods which they crack with their teeth, is a picture unfolded by archaeologists who have delved into a burial ground on a Gulf island near here. The skeletons were discovered on a small section of land where a lone fisherman has lived for years. Scientists estimated the bones are at least 500 years old and are remains of a tribe known as the Caribs, natives of the West Indies. They are believed to have inhabited the state and adjacent islands before the arrival of the Spaniards in Florida. The skulls, larger than those of current history, battered and crushed, indicate tribal battles. The jaw and teeth are unusually large. Likewise are the bones, indicating the Indians of the past ages were what the hell's that say? Veritable
giants.
Veritable giants. Comparison with those of today. Mounds similar to the one in which the bones were unearthed are common in the state. The bones have been sent to the Smithsonian Institute for further examination. Uh-oh. Let me guess. They lost them?
Probably.
Did they lose them? Because I know you have video of a guy taking it apart and showing the bones and the femur bone, right? Where it was like super long compared to. Oh, let's not forget to bring up the Vero Man too, bro.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the Vero Man in a sec. But since we're going archaeological, since we're going band for band on articles, there were a whole bunch of articles written about this. This was from Silver Springs area. And there were lots of articles that came out like this. For those who don't know, there were hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands and thousands of articles claiming that giant skeletons were discovered all over Florida, in every corner of the state. And it's overwhelming. Florida has more giant, claims of giant humans than anywhere else in America. And something that would often be highlighted in these articles was the disparity between what looked like different races or even sometimes different species in the human remains from Florida. So, for example, these two skulls, the people who were writing the articles kept remarking on how the male skull looked almost like a different species or a whole different race. And these are allegedly both Indians, from hundreds, if not thousands of years ago, buried in Florida. Well, let's see what it says. So the different skull types looked so different that it inspired people to start saying, what the more completely formed skull must be a white person in Florida in ancient times. But the man's skull looked more primitive. It looked like it had, you can see right there, like no forehead. I mean, look at that. That is no forehead. That looks almost like a missing link Neanderthal type skull. There's no forehead on the one on the left. Now, men do have brow ridges. That's a thing. And you also see this in a lot of Native Americans where they have very, very small forehead, like no forehead at all sometimes. Some Native Americans have that look. But then again, not to be rude, Native Americans and East Asians have the highest percentage of Neanderthal DNA of anyone in the world.
We say that again?
East Asians and Native Americans have more Neanderthal DNA than any other race or ethnicity.
East Asians are who? What countries exactly?
Like China, Korea, East Asia.
Would that kind of indicate intelligence? Because, I mean, Chinese people are kind of smart, right? They kind of excel.
Yes and no.
And you get what I'm getting at? Because, like, maybe this is how you're saying. You mentioned a missing link and almost like a superpower. Sort not a superpower, but again, like an edge.
We dug up some diggers over here in this spring. That skull ain't look nothing like that skull. That's a white skull. That's a digger skull right there.
By
CCC diggers, more like blank 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 beep.
We're gonna get canceled.
CCC, more like blank blank blank.
Also, did you see that other? Is this true? Have you heard about the Olmecs in Florida? We've talked about the Mayans in Florida, haven't we? Because of the pottery.
Yeah, like Maya and Aztec visitors. But so here, you guys, in this article, they're trying to argue that the skull on the right is almost like European. It's more fully formed, or it's closer to the modern Native Americans. And the one on the left is like a super archaic, like prehistoric human almost.
It could have been a, I don't want to say deformed person, but a person with like something wrong with them, right? Like a disability or something. Or it wasn't a child skull, like it wasn't smaller.
No, it's a man and a woman. But let's see what they say. 2 skulls intact. One of the skulls is that of an aged man who was killed by a blow on the head. The other is the skull of a comparatively young woman, 6 feet tall. So the woman was 6 feet tall. That is all that is known of this couple of early Americans who blank, I don't know what that says. Many centuries, the Indians inhabiting this country upon the discovery of America. Antedated, I think that says. Blah, 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 blah.
What if they identify it as something else? So that's kind of rude, don't you think? That they assume that it's a woman and they're, with their skull.
Mhm.
Also, which was the place where they found the skulls with brain matter intact? Was that Silver Springs or was that Lithium Springs?
That was Warm Mineral Springs and Windover. They found brains. So here. The higher type of the female skull points to a racial distinction between the pair, which finds plausible explanation in the theory that the woman was a captive wife from another tribe.
Oh, an interracial relationship, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't mean to click on that category. Not my preferred category, but since we're here. Not my proudest.
Golly, dude.
Not my proudest spank, but
yeah, let's talk about
wait, what did you want to talk about? What's that site in Turkey called?
Go Blecky Toppy or something like that. Whatever you call it, some stupid.
No, say it the right way, and I'll say it my way.
Go. I don't even remember how to say. You've said it so many. Gobekli
But
Tepe.
here in Florida, we have Goblapi Topi. Okay.
You've said it wrong to me so many times, I don't even understand. So there is a site, which is this. I want to bring this up too, and then we can talk about Vero Man. I don't know if you were done here or not.
Yeah, that's it.
So we have the, before we jumped on, I talked about how even though, let's say there wasn't actual giants per se here in Florida, but there were giants as far as mammoths and things of that nature. I believe there was also giant sloths or something like that at one point in Florida. But the Page Ladson site, which is near the Panhandle, very close to the Garden of Eden, is actually older than the Gobekli Tepe website site that again was one of the oldest ones. And at this site, they found so this is a bison skull, and they found look at that, dude. So they find, and this is all the time. I've seen videos on YouTube about this where people
zoom in on that.
It's a tusk.
Oh yeah.
They find preserved tusk. And I mean, we talked about the War Mineral Springs where they found a skull, a human skull with brain matter still in it. Because the water, it kind of sort of preserves it, right? It's like a capsule.
Yeah.
And there's like in fully intact. I've seen a bunch of videos of people going into the rivers, which I wouldn't recommend. There was a lady who just got killed by an alligator a couple of days ago. I don't know if you saw that. I think it was in Miami, I want to say. She was swimming in a river or something, and she was attacked and mauled by an alligator and killed. Because again, there are gators. So if you're gonna do this and go look for freaking mammoth tusk, which is dope, like it's super cool, just be, look around and make sure there's a body of water here in Florida. There's gonna be gators in it. But yeah, the site goes back to 14,200 to 14,550 BP, which I guess is before present. I hadn't heard about that until you had told me on the phone. And then that's 250 to 12,600 BCE. So again, this pushes back the mainstream timeline quite a bit, right? And it comes to show that in Florida, there could have been a race of people, right? Of where they had allegedly pottery and stuff, like they had stuff. So there's a lot of things that, and the Fertile Crescent, how old do they say that goes back? Like, what's the oldest time they go back for that?
For what?
For the Fertile Crescent, like the where humanity actually started, what we get taught in school.
Like how old civilization or like mankind itself?
Yeah, the whatever they told us in school.
Well, they say like Sumeria and all that civilizations like 6,000-ish years. Either 6,000 years BC or 6,000 years ago.
So 10,000 BCE and 8,000 between that. So
whoops.
So this is a lot older, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Florida's got like the oldest sites. I was trying to find this article about the double rows of teeth, but since we're on like age, let's bring up the Vero Man.
Yes,
because the Vero Man was an article. Go to the Wikipedia first,
yeah,
so people can see.
So the Vero Man, for those that don't know, Paleo-Indian man, fossilized bones were found near Vero, so Vero Beach, in 1915 and 1916. So the human bones found in association with the Pleistocene animals.
Pleistocene.
Pleistocene. That's what I said. What the hell is this, bro? Is this right? 2.5 million to 11,000 years ago? Is that right?
Exactly. Yep. And that's why Vero Man is so significant, guys. Vero Man is like the mother of all archaeological discoveries. Happened in Florida. So,
bro, that's such a wide time range, though.
Exactly. Intentionally. Now, they don't say that this was just the very, very late end of that. Like they try and keep it as late as possible. So it's that 11,000 end as possible. But Vero Man was buried alongside animals who went extinct very, very long time ago.
Whoa.
And for a long time, they tried to say, oh, no, no, no. They just buried him down lower into animals that were older. You know, like if you dig a 6-foot grave, you're digging like 6,000 years back in some places, right? So if you bury someone down, you're almost like putting them back in time, right? And the guys from the Smithsonian, so there was two main players in the Vero Man debate. There was Sellards, who was the state geologist of Florida, who by all accounts was a man of integrity, who did not like publicity, who did not like media, fiascos. He was a man of integrity from everyone, what many people who knew him said. And he was the state geologist of Florida. Now, remember, archaeology was not as big of a science then. So geology often included archaeology. Geologists were often the people called to respond to, human remains being discovered and stuff. Now, the Smithsonian, they opened up their Department of Anthropology, and their first head of the Department of Anthropology, or their first curator of anthropology, was this guy. You're going to like his name, okay? You can look up his Wikipedia too. Ales Hardlicka. Hardlicka. He was licking hard ones. Okay.
Hold on, dude. Before I Google that, because that sounds inappropriate. Eyelids hard.
Yeah, it's like Alex with an S, and then HRD Licka with an A. Licka. So
hold on. Don't pull up my screen just yet.
That's a Smithsonian higher up if I've ever heard one. He was Hungarian for some hard lick.
He was doing some licking. All right, this guy.
Yeah.
Smithsonian Museum, 1904 to 1941.
Yeah, that's the guy. Ales Herdlicka. So he's the villain in this story, okay? By all accounts, this guy was a motherfucker. He was mean. He was jealous. He was arrogant. He refused to be wrong. He would never admit he was wrong. And he, exactly like it says there, his job, literally his job, I'm not even kidding, guys. There's never been a more clear-cut Smithsonian villain. Like, people always say, the Smithsonian did this. The Smithsonian's covering up that. Never have we had one guy to point at and be like, oh, yeah, that was him. That was his job. He was the one covering stuff up intentionally, openly. Multiple scandals. Basically, he was hired by the Smithsonian to do two things. Number one, disprove giants. He's the guy. Number two, to prove that mankind had only been in America for a couple thousand years at most. And this is like 1900, 1910, around there. At that time, the scholarly, mainstream academic consensus was that Homo sapiens were...
They're going to say something else, dude.
That Homo sapiens were between only like 5,000 and 50,000 years old. So that's a very, very narrow, recent time frame. If we're finding humans in America that are older than 50,000 or older than 5,000, they're going to have to rethink their whole theory. And that was the theory they already decided on. And they were, adamant about, resistant to hear any opposing evidence. And that's what this debate had to do with. So Vero Man kicked off a huge media storm about, because remember, Vero Man, that's named after Vero, Florida, or Vero Beach. And this was on the heels of Heidelberg Man, Rhodesian man, like all these discoveries, like Neanderthal man was one too, I think. But they all had these names like blank man, the place they were found or the person who found them, and then man. So that's how Vero Man got its name, but it was actually a woman and a man, at least two separate human remains. And they were buried near a canal, or they were clearing a canal, building a canal and digging a canal, and they found these human remains. They were among saber-toothed tiger, mastodon or mammoth,
That's
and
crazy, dude.
extinct animals. And they weren't just late Pleistocene animals. They were some of them were middle Pleistocene animals.
Animals that they said that people hadn't interacted with, right?
Exactly. And it took them a couple more years. They found a bone, a mammoth bone that clearly had been had artwork on it, or
Scribe.
writing or prints made on it. And that was good evidence that the humans interacted with the bones, but it still wasn't proof that they lived alongside those animals when they were living. Then, recently, this guy named Jamie Kennedy or something Kennedy, look him up, Mammoth Art, Florida, something like that. This guy found a piece of some megafauna bone that had
This thing.
it wasn't just artwork from humans on the bone of an extinct animal. It was a picture of an extinct animal. So this proved conclusively that humans were living alongside those animals.
Yeah, because how would they have known what it looked like if they hadn't seen it in person, right? I mean,
Yep.
that's
Exactly.
wild, bro. Is it this one?
Yep. And that guy wanted like millions of dollars for that, and he held out and wouldn't sell it. And then I think he only got like 30,000.
Wow.
But all right, so yeah, so using things like that, you used to see stuff 100 years ago, or when these discoveries were made, you used to see things in the newspaper like this. Florida newspapers.
Whoa.
Fossil found at Vero, Florida, proves humans lived here in the year 123,084 BC. Oddly specific, but state geologist Sellards and Professor Hay concur in opinions. Men grew 12 feet tall. Many theories advanced. Now, Sellards didn't sign off on the giant thing, but that was coming up in the conversation too, because many people were finding giants all over Florida. But from everything I've seen, Vero Man was normal sized, average sized.
Yeah.
But based off the animals they were finding, they were saying, yeah, over 100,000 years, well over 50,000 years. And there's many, many newspaper articles that said that. It's not just the articles making that shit up. Sellards and Hardlicka had a public dispute, and they even had arguments in office buildings, and people say it was a very bitter rivalry. Sellards was just doing his job. He's a geology expert. He says, all right, if it's buried at this layer and these animals are this old and the bones are right there next to the animal bones, it's a pretty good ballpark. And he said over 20,000 years old. This guy, Professor Hay, said over 100,000. And
That's
he
wild.
was, Professor Hay is also a respected guy. He's a paleontologist. I forget what he's known for.
How tall was the Vero Man? Do we know?
So Oliver Perry Hay was an American herpetologist, ichthyologist.
Oh, it was actually a woman's skeletal remains. That's what it says here.
Yeah, woman and man. and paleontologist. So this guy was famous. He went to all the colleges, PhD, all this stuff. And he worked for, look at all this, Field Museum of Natural History, Carnegie Institution for Science. He wrote books on Pleistocene mammals, turtles. So, I mean, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's not just some fucking crackpot like writing into the newspaper. This guy said, no. These are over 100,000 years old based off the, where they're buried. Today, I've got
there's two, sorry to interrupt you. There's two ways to look at it where, Stellards could have had something to gain from it. Do you think of like, hey, coming out with an idea of that's so far fetched versus hard liquor was like, no, let's stick to the facts that we know, quote unquote, the mainstream. Do you think
his reputation was ruined? Sellards, pretty much. You can search this up on your end. Search Sellards Hardlicka rivalry, and there's articles written about how much they hated each other, how bad it was for Sellards. I mean, Hardlicka's, even though he was like involved in some scandals, is still remembered positively.
Let me find this guy's name. It's hard to spell out.
Here's another article. Scientists declare Florida fossils prove man lived in America 150,000 years ago. So that's according to Professor Hay. Sellards was saying well over 12,000 years ago, 20,000, 50,000, more conservative range. But Hardlicka was saying, no way. The Smithsonian, he was their number one guy. He spent much of his career in Florida, disproving giant skeletons, shipping them away, never hearing from them again. Oh, and guys, Juan, maybe you can look this up too. What happened to Vero Man? Lost by the Smithsonian.
No, really?
Swear to God. It's like the original one.
Wow, dude. Yeah, right here. So, according to AI, where is it at? So, the original Vero Man skeleton discovered in 1915 in Vero Beach was later discovered to be a woman, and the bones were subsequently lost, misplaced, or chemically damaged.
Yeah.
Where the hell is
Search
that?
Smithsonian or keyword Smithsonian in that article. Did it come up?
Well, link me to this. So,
okay.
Link me.
Put Smithsonian in quotes after Vero Man in the search bar there.
What was that?
No. Keep that and then just put Smithsonian in quotes, and then search it again.
We're largely lost.
Yeah.
A lot of things have gone missing, right? Because of these people. Like,
so people, it's insane how they literally gaslight people today saying, oh, that's a conspiracy. Oh, the Smithsonian just lost all the giants. Do you really think the Smithsonian's out there just destroying giant bones? Well, Vero Man wasn't even a giant. It just had major implications in other areas, and they lost that one too. So, I mean, why are these people in charge of anything? Why were they in charge of jack shit back then?
Well, there's conspiracies too, right? Today, some researchers suspect it may still be filed away and hidden in a museum collection. But think about that, dude. Like, how many things have gone missing from certain things that end up in private collections, right?
Yeah.
Like Geronimo's bones, things like that, because the things that are significant, right? And then it's funny, when researchers reviewed the skull before this shipment, they realized it belonged to a woman. So, like, did they switch it out? Like, what?
It's like, all right, yeah, I'll see you guys later. I'm gonna file it away, and then I'm gonna close up shop for the day. Like, as soon as he finds out it's a female skull, he just like steals it, takes it home.
I'm gonna read this real quick. This is from 2016.
Search. There's a good keyword. If you keyword in here, it says Sellards was right, basically. Sellards. Today we know Sellards was right.
Where in
I
here?
think I think it's in this article. Yeah.
Sellers, right?
Yeah. He says something like, dude, this is how near photographic my memory is. He says something like, it took us more than a century, but today we finally know Sellers was right. Something like that.
No, it's not in this one.
It's not known.
Oh, he comes up with Sellers who came down assist in 1916, early April. They found some human bones themselves with the extinct animals. The extinct animal list continued to grow, and it really started to get the interest of the whole scientific community. So then the geologists led by Sellers believed that the human bones discovered at the Vero site were from the Pleistocene period as the extinct animal bones that they had been found with. That meant that humans were here during the Ice Age at least 11,000 years ago. And then he comes up with hard liquor, clung to the prevailing belief of the early.
Ooh, damn, I never looked at it that way too. It's like hard liquor. Like this guy's fucking drunk, dude.
Bro, I thought that's what you've been saying this whole time.
No, I meant like he's licking something hard or something.
Yeah. Okay. So we have reasons to believe that this is really a Pleistocene site, that we have some evidence of human occupation between 11 and 14,000 years ago, much like Sellard suggested. So he kind of says, yeah, Sellard suggested initially, right?
Mhm.
So, and this place is run by, I think, Andy Hemmings. We should probably get this guy on the freaking podcast, bro.
Dude, I'm having such deja vu. It's fucking crazy. I
So
swear,
whatever
I
the
swear
early,
we've had this exact conversation.
yeah, I remember you talking about this hard liquor, but not so much detail. But we've brought it up before because we've talked about the giant bones and the Smithsonian having
So here, you read
right there.
this.
Yeah.
It's taken more than 100 years, but it's taken more than 100 years, but we now know that Sellards was right.
Who said that?
Robert, or not, whoever this guy is. The guy in the picture you were just looking at.
Is it
James Adovasio.
most
James
extensive billion North American
James Adovasio.
director?
Said it. This guy. Yeah, so Sellards was right. Now they still keep that they still push the dating towards the very uh, conservative end, like only 12,000 years ago. But still, it's much more likely this is somewhere in between 11,000. That's what they don't want to say. They won't come out right and say this is between 11,700 and 2 million years old. So for them, they just say, oh, yeah, 14,000 at the most, probably.
Because
So
what does that do to biblical history? Are you a what is it, a creationist? Are you on board with that? Earth is only 6,000 yeah.
Well, that's like young Earth creationism or young Earth fundamentalism. I'm not a young Earth guy. I'm not against it. But I kind of believe more in old Earth. I believe things have been here for thousands and thousands of years. The whole world only being 6,000 years old to me doesn't really make sense because we're on an astrological cycle that is at least 25,000 years, But I'm not discounting anything. So, they get the 6,000 year thing just from adding up everyone's lifespan in the Bible. That's how they get that. It's not the explicit dating, confirmed dating every step along the way in the Bible. Also people talk about the first 6 days of creation being 1,000 years each. Some people look at it that way. But let's talk about the Bible for a sec, because this brings up a really good rabbit hole. When people hear about Bigfoot, they think that's like ridiculous or that's UFO stuff, right? But then when other people hear Neanderthal, some people might think that's ridiculous. Like, oh, that's fake news. That's a psyop. that's a missing link psyop, that there's no such thing as evolution, that's fake. And I hear you. But let's look at this through the lens that one of my favorite researchers, mystics, looked at it through. E. Calloway. Can you go to E. Calloway's Wikipedia or the 1936 governor election Wikipedia? I don't think he has his own Wikipedia, E. Calloway. Maybe he does.
1936 Florida gubernatorial election. That one.
Gubernatorial.
Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you know what's funny? That I wear a Florida. What is this? Hold on. I wear a Florida hat sometimes with the Florida. Well, you can't see it right here, but with the Florida flag on it. You know how many
Yeah.
people think that's the Confederate flag, and they stop me to ask me what flag that is?
It's retarded.
All the time, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, it's the Florida flag and seal, dude. I mean, all right. So who do we got here? We got E. Calloway in here. You said 1936.
Yeah. So this is Calloway. One of Calloway's claims to fame.
I don't see him here. 1936.
Yeah, go. Well, they're just missing his picture there on the right.
Oh, right here. So
Yeah.
right.
So E. Calloway. If you Google search him, there's some pictures of him. E. Calloway ran for governor of Florida,
He got
1936.
crushed, bro. Damn.
All right. Well, it's in the middle of the fucking like New Deal, Great Depression. Everyone was sucking at the tit of the government. Everyone was Democrat. Running as a Republican was like a death wish, but still, he did it. He got 60,000 votes, which is pretty dang good for the whole world being all of America was blue back then, by the way, especially the South, especially the South. But E. Calloway, yeah, that's him. You can search his full name, L.V. Edison, like Elv with L.V. Edison Calloway. You'll find some more pictures of him. He is the guy who really, he's not the first to think it, but he's
He died
the first
July
guy
4th,
to really.
bro.
Hell yeah, R.I.P. Dude, I'm going to do a show about him July 4th. Thanks for the idea. He was a lawyer, a judge, a Freemason, a Shriner, and a Baptist preacher. He led the Republican Party in Florida for a time. And yeah, he had like this epiphany in his 50s or 40s or 50s, like a midlife crisis. Split up with his wife, moved to North Florida, and started looking for the Garden of Eden. And he uncovered what he believed was the Garden of Eden. He found all these evidences, the plant life, the animal life, the minerals, everything you'd need to prove this is the Garden of Eden. And he dedicated his life to, blowing the whistle on the Garden of Eden being in Florida. He wrote newspaper articles. He wrote a book. And when he died, speaking of his death, there was actually a moment of silence in Congress. So he was a pretty influential guy in the United States Congress, not just the state house or anything. They had a moment of silence for him in the federal government. So, so influential guy, a Florida legend, and he had all these theories about Florida being the Garden of Eden. But an interesting angle that he took, similar to the angles that some others in like the ancient alien community have taken. His theory as to creation and human origins was basically this, as it relates to the Bible. You'll notice there are actually two creations in the book of Genesis. mankind is created twice in Genesis. Has this ever jumped out to you, Juan?
Yes.
So Genesis 1, if we go to the King James Version, Genesis 1 KJV. Yeah. Yeah, boom, perfect. So if we scroll down a little bit, it's like Genesis 20, 128 or 122, around there. Genesis 126. Yeah, right. Yeah, 126. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. Okay. And, he says, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, all this. And he makes them vegetarian too. So if there's any confusion about what dominion means, the very next verse says vegetarian diet, fruit and herb bearing seed.
So I think is it backwards? So God created man in his own image, 27, and then it says here, and God created great whales. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first creation, and if we're reading this in Hebrew, by the way, Hebrew, when it says God here, it's saying Elohim. Okay. Elohim, which is plural in Hebrew, and people always disagree as to what it means, right? Is it one God? Is it the Trinity? Is it God, Jesus, and John the Baptist all hanging out together? But I'll tell you what Elohim really means. Elohim is the council of creation. So El is leading this council. El is like Saturn, maybe even Satan.
Uh-oh.
El is like the chairman of the board or the boss. But Elohim is responsible for this first creation. Now, Genesis 2, let's go to Genesis 2, next chapter. Yep. Now, God creates Adam and then Eve. So, where does it say? And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, Florida, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground made the Lord God. Yeah, okay, yada, yada, yada.
So wait a second. So here it says
the trees,
the Lord, and then here it says
go ahead.
So in Hebrew you said this is Elohim, so and God, and then over here it says Lord. So is this
is Yahweh. In Genesis
Yahweh.
2, it's Yahweh doing the creation. So this is just further evidence that this may even be totally separate stories.
Whoa.
Remember, most Christians and most readers of the Bible assume that Genesis 2 is a retelling. So the same story, just retold with more detail, right? More, but that may not actually be the case. So Genesis 1, it's Elohim creating man and woman at the same time, and there's no breath of life, and there's no living soul. It's just the image of God, or the image of them in our image, right? All the Elohim. Genesis 2, it's Yahweh. Yahweh, which, as I've said, is the breath of life. Yahweh's sounds like inhalation, sounds like Darth Vader, right? Yahweh. Right? It's like breath. It's like aloha a little bit. Well, aloha is kind of like Eloha, which is the singular form, or I think a singular form of Elohim. There's Eloha, Elohim, whatever. Forget that. Yahweh is the breath of life. Yahweh gives the breath of life to Adam and makes him a living soul. And then later, okay, Eve comes out of Adam's rib. So, which one is it? Are they actually contradicting, or is it just a simple matter of interpretation? So Genesis 1, Elohim creates man and woman, apparently at the same time, and puts them all over the world, all over the earth. Go out and subdue the world, all the animals, all the food, all over the place is the picture we get. Adam and Eve in Genesis 2, Yahweh gives them the breath of life directly, makes sure they're a living soul, and then puts them specifically in the Garden of Eden in one location. So this is one special people in one special place. Right. What do you think, Juan?
No, I grew up in the church, and we never. Well, I guess Jehovah is Yahweh, right? Is that another name for Yahweh? Jehovah.
Mhm.
So yeah, because we grew up. I never said Yahweh. I always said Jehovah because it's in Spanish, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, no, it is like, what is this race or separate creation? And then they were put out in the world, right? Is that what it says? So they went forth, and
Yeah.
then God created like this side experiment in the Garden of Eden,
Mhm.
separately from the main creation. And it does read like that, bro. It's pretty trippy when you
Yeah, and
actually look into it.
exactly. And we can prove this point a little bit more because when we go forward, when Adam and Eve are kicked out of the garden, they have two sons, Cain and Abel, right? Now, Cain gets into trouble also and is expelled, like shunned, right? Well, when Cain is expelled and leaves the community, which they themselves have left the Garden of Eden, Cain finds a wife. Cain has a wife from a land, another land, a place far, not that far away, but a separate place. And there are people there who are seemingly not from the Garden of Eden and may even be more primitive. So the land of Nod, this is maybe Genesis 3 or 4. It's like 4 or 5, I forget. But the land of Nod.
How do you spell it? It's KNOD, right?
If you go up to the search bar up there, yeah, where it says Genesis 4, search land of Nod, Nod. So
Genesis 4.
Genesis 4:16. So when Cain gets shunned, exiled, the verse reads, "And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod."
That was
On the east.
Orlando, bro. The land of Nod was Orlando.
Could be. East Florida, Jacksonville or something.
Yeah, St. Augustine.
But Nod, what does Nod make you think of? I know this is pretty retarded, but Nod makes me think of like unconsciousness, like nodding off to sleep. Nod is like no, not, it's kind of negative. Nod makes me think of nodding off, nodding your head, like, unconscious behavior is what nod makes me think of. And that may be the distinction between the people from Eden and the people outside of Eden, a separation of consciousness. So Cain has to go to the land of Nod, which represents unconsciousness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Adam and Eve are like Da Vinci's Vitruvian man. They're like perfect. They have the sacred geometry encoded into their, the anatomy. They have the mind that's been activated by God. they're on this like hyper evolution route, whereas that earlier creation was something else. And again, this may be like people talk about the Adamic race being separate from the human race. So everything from Adam is the Adamic race. This is like the proto-Hebrews. So before the Hebrews, there were the Semites who were chosen because of a dispute in Noah's family. But before Jew, there's Israelite. Before Israelite, there's Hebrew. Before Hebrew, there's Semite. Before Semite, I guess there's Noahite, maybe. But before Noah, the chosen people, right, the chosen path is the Adamic race. You know, Adam's descendants, the good descendants, are the good guys. Cain's descendants are the bad guys. And so, all right, Cain, although from Adam's, Adam's issue, he may have, his wife may have been a primate or some type of hominid species, some Neanderthal or something like that. Now, is that according to me? No. We brought up E. Calloway, who studied the Bible, most of his whole life, knew it inside and out. E. Calloway believed that the first creation was all all Neanderthal, Homo erectus, Denisovan, all these like hominids, early pre-human creatures who stood on 2 feet. All of those were part of the first creation, variations of the first creation. So God put seemingly, man-like, primate-ish. Also, there's no monkeys mentioned in that first creation, in the first creations of Genesis, the days of creation. Monkeys are not mentioned. Apes are not mentioned. So the first creation and man, bear with me here, may actually include every class of bipedal, upright walking primate, including variations of man that may have been very primitive, like caveman, Neanderthal, something like that. Whereas Adam is refined. Remember, God also kind of develops and sculpts and revises things. That's kind of what the flood was. God kind of goes back to scratch, starts again, right? That's what the flood is. And who's to say he can't do that with his creatures? He creates maybe monkeys, apes, something above apes, like Neanderthal or a hominid. And then he updates finally to human. And human, here, I got to go get my charger.
And you know what's interesting? Because I think whales is whales one of the only animals, like great whales, and I think there's different translations to this, but it's interesting. Let's see here. So, what's another version? Does it say whales? No, it doesn't. So the King James version is the one that says whales. Let's go here with another version.
King James always.
Yeah, but it's interesting that they mention whales, great whales by, and I want to say it's like one of the only animals named by name, like whales, in the Bible. I mean, there's cattle, which.
Well, it's also kind of consistent with evolution, right? They tell us it's all sea creatures to start off.
Yeah, and then like this, it crawled up on land and turned to like a lizard in there. Like it kept going from there, right? We've seen that picture before. It's like evolution, but is evolution unbiblical?
Which creatures were created first? I'm going to expose how bad I know this. Go up a little higher. Was it birds or fish that were first? Go up.
Keep going.
No, down. Okay, hang on. No, a little more. Go up higher.
This way.
Just stay still. I can't read. All right, go down a little bit.
Right here, fowl. And we fly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and then the whales. So fowl, so birds first, right?
So
Above
birds
it.
first. So okay, maybe not harmonizing with evolution, but all right. So we've got this second creation story, right? These two creations. E. Calloway was pretty clear. He believed the first, because in Calloway's day, there was all this debate. Are we going to? So for those who don't know, Calloway was actually involved in what's known as the Scopes monkey trial. The Scopes
What?
monkey trial, yeah, was the court case that basically, yeah, I'm going to say indirectly, but many would say directly. It indirectly killed creationism in a American education system. So up until this point, many schools taught creation in school. Like it wasn't a problem for them. They taught God created the world in 7 days and math classes at 12 o'clock. See you guys later. The Scopes monkey trial is pretty much the landmark shift where things go from teaching creation in school to teaching evolution in school. And after this, almost no one taught creation in school unless it was like a Christian academy or something. So this is widely considered to be a media hoax. According to mainstream historians, it was a media hoax. The town wanted the hearing to be held in their courthouse. Much of this it's almost like what's her name? Bitch who wouldn't get up off bitch who wouldn't get up off the bus seat.
Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks. Okay. Like there was kind of some truth to it, but they reconfigured the story into a more media friendly version that then took off and eclipsed the truth. But so yeah.
Is there conspiracy with that? What?
Doesn't matter. Rosa Parks, that they like
Is it
had
a false
her.
flag?
Yeah, she was having trouble on the bus, and then they like made a media stunt out of it. They're like, "All right, go back, make a big
Oh,
show of it, and we're gonna have journalists ready."
the
Yeah,
Truman Show. All right.
people will know what I'm talking about. Rosa Parks was a media.
That's crazy, bro. I've never even heard that. I never even considered that before.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of how the Scopes monkey trial went. They got two of the most famous attorneys in America to argue in this famous court case. I believe it was the first court case broadcast over the radio. So almost like it was like the Johnny Depp trial of its day, where everyone was tuning in, everyone was hanging on every word that was said, over the radio. And after this, if you believed in creation, you were considered dumb, basically. Up until this point, people were really neutral, or they weren't willing. It wasn't seen as unsophisticated to.
Look at that. That's crazy.
I don't know. Maybe. Whatever. So E. Calloway was friends with a couple people involved in this trial, and he was I don't know. I don't know if he was there, but he was working with Clarence Darrow was a friend of his, a very close friend of his. and they corresponded, and he gave him advice on this trial. So E. Calloway was kind of invested in this, and so when it came time to prove Florida was the Garden of Eden, he actually dedicated a sizable, portion of that book, maybe a whole chapter or so, about proving that not only were Adam and Eve in Florida, but he also talks about how the first creation was like an earlier stepping stone or an evolution along the way, and that you can find that type of creation all over the world. So his response to Neanderthal and all this was that, yeah, that's just the first creation. Here in Florida, this is the perfect final design that God settled on and manufactured in Florida. So
stamped and sealed, bro. Florida. That's it. The true Garden of Eden.
yeah. Excuse
That's
me,
great.
my voice just cracked.
It's okay.
Got like 500 people in the chat. What's up, y'all? Good to see everyone. Make sure you pour yourself up a little liquid sunshine. Spark up something good. Good to see everyone. What do you guys think? What do you guys think on two creations? Is that a compelling theory, or are we just filling in gaps that don't need to be filled in?
I mean, what do people say about? What do biblical scholars say?
Well, scholars, that's another story. Okay, the scholars say that, oh yeah, Moses didn't write any of that. No, yeah, that's all fake. They say Genesis 1 was created, I'm not even kidding, by the cult of Elohim, the Elohists. Genesis 2 was authored by a separate source, or maybe even a separate group of people, separate community. They were the cult of Yahweh. So Genesis 2 was authored by the cult of Yahweh, or the Yahwists. So you can look this up, Elohists versus Yahwists. And then there's also another source in the Old Testament called the priestly source, which is kind of many times on the same page as the Elohist source.
This is a thing. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right. There's a rabbit hole, dude. Yeah, because then you have the made in the image of us, and all that other stuff. It's like, who is us? Is it the Trinity? Is it a group? How you're saying, a council of entities that are kind of, and that's what the Book of Enoch kind of talks about a little bit, right? Where it's like a system that's running, and in the Book of Enoch, every single angel and they were all this angel had to create this, and this other one created this. It was like a working system that they had, versus what we always hear about, where it's just like one God and he creates everything. Well, in the Book of Enoch, it's there is a hierarchy in heaven, which, I mean, there is, because there's the archangels and everything else, and God's at the top, and they're like his henchmen, essentially, right? They're doing stuff around, and I'm sure they're causing chaos too, right? Like they're probably messing around with people and things of that nature. But yeah, it's pretty interesting.
So, yeah, two species of man on the planet, at least two. You can also look at this from like a racial perspective. Lots of people do, by the way. Lots of people, Christian extremists, some of them, like, some people say, okay, yeah, the Adam race is the white race, and all the other ones are like not Adam's race, not the white race. And, the black people do the same exact thing with Adam and the Hebrews.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a blind spot for a lot of people who are interested in the Bible, because it does they're like the proto, if these are two separate creations, then the creation of Adam is like the proto-Israelites there. It's like the early attempt that God gives like more care and attention to one specific group or one specific little experiment on the side. And
just the Puerto Ricans. They're like the prototypes. They're just like, they don't
well,
really matter.
remember like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, we were talking about how like there was that article or that weird
That the first, could have
there
been
was that
a
yeah
Puerto Rican
there
DNA.
was the weird it was like almost like an art project though, wasn't it? This guy was like trolling or just seeing how people would respond to that type of information or that claim. The guy said that like Puerto Rican DNA was like perfect and original DNA,
So
and that like it's like the
mitochondrial
perfect
Eve.
it's the perfect like fucking cum cocktail of like all the races that have came there. Like it just resulted in the perfect DNA. It's fake news, by the way. I'm not saying that, guys. But
No, it's not fake. That's what they want you to believe, that it's fake news and that it's an art
search.
project.
It was like perfect genome. Perfect genome. Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I remember us talking about it. So
A thought
experiment, dude.
Yeah.
So it was a biologist says Puerto Rican women possess ideal genotype of the perfect human via DNA ancestry.
Yeah.
So
that's massive copium for them just being a fucking cum cocktail. That's like, we found bits of every piece of DNA in
in your mom,
Puerto Rican women. It's like they have they have bits of African, bits of Native American, bits of Middle Eastern, bits of. It's like, wow, there are some.
They're the bukkake of genealogy, bro.
Some hoes.
Yeah, they're for the streets. All right, so yeah, we did talk about that. So it is the Puerto Rico Report.com.
I mean, there was something to that. Like if Adam and Eve were Floridians and weren't Florida Indians removed? They were removed to Cuba at least once. Were they ever removed to Puerto Rico? Florida Indians?
Wait, say that again?
Never mind. Forget it. Didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's true for Cuba. I was just wondering if it was true for Puerto Rico that Florida Indians were like removed there.
Removed from Puerto Rico? And like taken somewhere else? Are you farting? Is that why you muted?
No, I'm trying to let you talk because we talk over each other. Basically, what were we just talking about?
About the Indians being removed from Puerto Rico and Cuba.
Yeah, except for the Seminole Indians, like all these different tribes in Florida went to Cuba. When the Spanish left Florida, they brought most of the Florida Indians with them to Cuba. The ones who didn't leave, joined together with the Seminoles. But when I was just wondering if any Florida Indians ever made it to Puerto Rico too.
Probably. I mean, the Tainos were in the Antilles as well. Like they were the greater Tainos, and there was different sections of Tainos that were, which I'm sure. I mean,
yeah.
Hey, if the Cubans from today can make it to Florida on a boat, I mean, they can make it the other way around. They can float from Florida to Cuba.
Yeah, and one of our next shows we're gonna do on the Antilles, the Antillians.
The Atlanteans?
Exactly.
Ooh, bro.
Exactly. Antilles is like Juan trying to say Atlantis.
Let's do it. All right. What else we got? You want to wrap it up with the videos of the Giants?
Trying to see some big bones.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what I got. We could also, I mean, something we didn't really get into is the elongated skulls and like the double rows of teeth and 6 fingers, like all the evidence for that. We'll do another stream on that, like Nephilim body types or
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah, we can astrologically, where do they fall? Right, they say redheaded people are
Mhm.
Nephilim. RH
Yep.
negative is the one that they talk about, right? Like the priestly bloodline. Is that, am I correct on that?
Well, yeah, that's what a lot of people say, is that RH negative is like witch's blood or maybe even the Nephilim blood type or the Adam blood, the original blood type, because RH negative, there's a book that's written called RH negative and the Levite priesthood, something like that. Well, the shroud, yeah, they say it's AB, but I don't think they know the rhesus factor.
The what?
The rhesus, that's the positive or negative.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay,
rhesus
I
is a
got you.
monkey. It's like a monkey blood. You either do or you don't have the monkey blood.
Because I mean, do you think this thing is real or do you think it's fake?
I don't know. Kind of looks like me, that one down there to the right.
This
That
one?
one, a little bit.
Bro, you gotta, do you grow a
The
beard or
long,
no?
yeah. I mean, I can.
I think you
It's
should,
blonde.
bro.
It's blonde.
Let it grow a little bit.
But isn't it interesting how there's always a look to Jesus? He always
Yes.
has that tall, long nose, right?
I mean, again,
He,
it's the European. What was that one king or
no, no,
whatever, the prince that
no,
they
no.
modeled it after? You know what I'm talking about?
It's Cesare Borgia. That's fake news. Okay.
Yeah.
Cesare Borgia probably had a mouth like a bulldog. He probably looked like fugly as hell. And they made him look like the ideal man, like, so it's the other way around. Okay. We all know for a fact, if Jesus was artistically like generated, he was based off Jupiter or Zeus. He was based off Hellenistic or Hellenic philosophers.
Mm-hmm.
That's who he was modeled after, if he was artistically
Damn.
modeled after anyone. And I'm too fat to look like Jesus. Okay.
Look at the
Jesus
sack on
was
this guy, bro.
Jesus was thin, strong, but not pudgy, and so he was thinner than people are probably used to seeing Zeus look like. But yeah, if he was modeled after anyone, it was Zeus. Fuck that fake news, Cesare Borgia. That's bullshit.
Yeah, but
Okay,
who is Zeus modeled after, bro? That's the real question.
when you close your eyes, it's like the perfect man or the perfect father, son. God. God has a long nose. Have you heard me talk about this?
No.
Okay, in Hebrew, yeah. If you need to see, um,
And up
in
close.
in Hebrew, the word for slow to anger, long suffering, God in the Old Testament in Hebrew is described as long nosed, maybe a dozen times or so, half dozen at least. Every time it says long suffering, slow to anger in the English Bible, that is long nosed in Hebrew. It's an
Is that a
idiom.
saying though? Is that like a saying, like long nosed?
Yes, but it is said that way. It's not like a expression that means that. When you say long nosed or long nostrilled in
Or
Hebrew,
long go, right? Got it?
it's
Long go.
synonymous. It's synonymous with being slow to anger. It's like if you say someone's hot headed,
Gotcha. Yeah.
that means they're angry. If you say someone's long nosed in Hebrew, it means they're slow to anger. And look this up. Search God long nosed in the Bible, And this is another thing, Juan. I'm not bringing this up for no reason.
But
This
wouldn't
is a
that make sense? Because they're Tengu. Aren't they known for their
kinda,
no?
kinda. Now those
Wow.
noses, the Hebrews originally are. There's a distinction between tall and long nose. Okay, the ideal is to have a tall nose. Dangerous because then you run the risk of it being crooked or being downward turned. A down,
Hooky,
yeah, hook nose. You don't want a hook nose. That's kind of bad energy. But when we look at all these Greek statues, I mean, they have tall noses. You don't want the nose to come too far off the face. But when it comes down, what they believed was that they believed in like humorism, or like almost like Greek or Chinese medicine, where there's like hot, cold, dry, and wet, right? And if you're imbalanced, that leads. They're like the humors, the four humors. If you're imbalanced, you have a hot personality, or you're choleric, sanguine. There's these different like humors basically that you could be dominant in. And following like those same principles of like hot, wet, cold, dry, they believe that anger was filtered through the nose, and that hot air, if it went straight to the brain through a short nose, it was more likely to overheat the head. They believe that long noses were like air conditioning almost. Like the longer air took to go from the tip of the nose to the brain, the more it could cool down. So long nose is not necessarily a bad thing. Hook nose is what you want to look out for.
Yeah, because that's like the witch's nose. It's like a
Mhm.
hook, right? Evil, ugly. It's got that.
Yeah.
That pimple on it, right?
So, the Greek nose is supposed to be a mark of virtue and nobility. And when we say gnosis, Gnostic,
Mhm.
the nose knows all. Okay. The nose smells the strongest sense. And it's the one most connected to religious experience
Yes.
on a scientific level. Smell hits the
Recalls
deep.
memory the best. Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
So,
Damn.
guys, don't get pulled into the long nose hating propaganda. Okay, make sure we're being very careful about which noses we're hating on. Okay, because God of the Bible had a long nose.
Yeah, but they knew, bro. The Japanese knew. They knew exactly. They smelled what the Rock was cooking, bro. Look at that.
Uh,
They knew what they
Yeah.
were doing, bro. Look at that hook. It's a hook nose too, by the way.
Yeah,
Talk about a
yeah, you're
long
right.
nose right there. It's a bird, bro. It's a beak.
Yeah,
They're demonic birds.
damn, they got him in anime too. That's savage.
Yeah, dude. They know what's up, bro. They know exactly what's up. Japanese. I want to go to Japan soon, dude.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. So what else we got?
Well, that's it. You know, we went through some videos. We went through earliest reports, newspaper articles, Native American testimonies, and we talked about the two creations in Genesis. I think we covered almost everything, but we'll do another show. You're free this coming Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do a show on
You said Nephilim, the Antilles, and
yeah.
Atlanteans.
We can do it on like Nephilim body characteristics, physical descriptions of Nephilim, like elongated skulls, double rows of teeth, 6 fingers and 6 toes. We can do a show on that, or we'll do a show on the Antilles,
Yes.
the mythical land that the Caribbean takes its alternate name from.
Are there any Are there any elephants in the Caribbean?
So, okay, that's something we didn't get to talk about. Elephants lived in Florida in ancient times. They lived all throughout North and South America. I don't know about the Caribbean, but mammoth, mastodon, and multiple species of elephant lived in Florida. But
Yes.
we didn't get to talk about monkeys. There are monkeys. Monkeys were never native to Florida, allegedly, but there were monkeys native to the Caribbean. So Cuba, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico. There were monkeys native there. Most of them have gone extinct. There are also invasive monkeys there today. So,
So we can tie that into Atlantis, the elephants, and then what would you say horses too, right?
yep, horses and elephants in America. That's another pretty good evidence that America and Florida was Atlantis. We have
Okay.
horses come from America. That's also good evidence that Noah's Ark left America, is that horses come from America, then they disappear, then they show up in Eurasia. Here, one more article real quick.
Wow.
This is article from 1926 that we forgot to go over. This thing's pretty cool. So this is from the News Press, March 30th, 1926. And it reads, "It was monkeys that first settled Florida." Okay, the Associated Press. "Another fine old tradition has gone by the boards, namely that Florida was originally settled by Seminole Indians and their antecedents, sorry. Monkey bones having been dug up here in a subdivision, the species of which has been confirmed by the Smithsonian Institute at Washington. It is believed this tribe of anthropoids was undoubtedly the original swamp ape tribe, hitherto investing this state and considered by students of animal lore to have been mere creatures of the modern imagination."
That sounds cool. The swamp
19
ape tribe.
Yeah. What'd you say? Anthropoid?
Yeah, right there. Anthropoid. I believe the tribe of anthropoids.
Yeah.
The original swamp ape. Damn, bro. They're deep in the swamps.
Dude, should we do Phrenology Fridays? Talking about like skulls and face reading and physiognomy and stuff.
I think those are some of your more popular shows when you talk about astrology and like how I was telling you the physical attributes of a person and their tendencies. And I sent you that. Remember the two guys I sent you where one guy went to jail for 17 years because he looked exactly like the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
The one I texted you a picture of.
Mm-hmm.
So people's tendencies based on their physical attributes and then how that lines up with their astrological alignments. I think that those are some of your more popular. I think people like the astrology stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I'm down.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Guys, go subscribe to Juan on Juan YouTube channel if you haven't already. What's so fucking funny? What's
this comment, bro?
What is it? Say it.
No, I'm not saying it. You say it.
Say it.
Play the song, bro.
Which one?
The one that
The one that's posted or pinned?
the what?
Which comment are you laughing at?
Yeah, the one that's pinned right now.
Okay. LOL.
Do it. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully.
Here, wait. Guys, go subscribe to Juan on Juan podcast. 20K subscribers. Hell yeah, bro. Go subscribe if you haven't already.
Send me the link to the Asmongold reacting to your thing, bro. I want to see it.
Okay. Yeah. If you search like Asmongold 711 on Twitter or Instagram, it'll come up. But Dude, every time I mean, I can't say shit because Adam Green, I thought that I didn't know anyone had ever talked about that before me. The 7-Eleven and the, whatever. 7-Eleven food brand and their interesting name. But someone did break that before me. Adam Green. So he talked about it before.
He's super anti-Tengu.
He's anti-Tengu. He's anti-Christian too.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. Over 500 people in the chat tonight. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you next week. I'm going to see you on Saturday. We're doing a July 4th show. Me and Merlin, I think. So, all right, everyone.
Later.
Oh, wait, here, let me queue up.
Have a good night and have a safe 4th of July. Don't blow your hands off or anything. Don't do anything stupid. But yeah, happy 4th of July. Play that funky music, white boy.
Peace.
Later.
Wild Indian, yeah.
Hey V, line them up.
I'm a wild Indian, you know I go crazy. Ain't really Indian, that boy fugazi. I just keep it player, you can never play me. You got an ass so fat, girl, let's make a baby. And another one. Then I'm back to the trap, I'm trying double some. She a bad woke chick and I love her tongue. We some jurisdiction boys, we some 101s. Look, don't compare me to no Martin dog, I'm like Malcolm X. Die about our freedom, we'll leave a crack and stretch. Round of applause, boy, you know we clapping text. Chucky dog, child play, yeah, nigga, that's what's next. Open up the cans just like Arizona. Pull up mad stuff like we got the Rona. We set up jurisdictions when we bought a corner. How you claiming that's your hood and you not the owner? Be the B, I just pulled up in the need for speed. Free the land, tell the colonizers that they need to leave. Wild Indian up in my veins, you know how we bleed. You ain't gotta lie about who we is, dog, just keep it G. We at war, we can't keep the peace. Since we at war, gotta keep the peace. Whack a cone, then I meditate. Should I need to breathe? Keep a Olmec head when we slide, dog, cause we the shit.
Like my niggas said, bitch, we the shit. I can't keep the peace. If it pop off, then I want a piece. I'm just on release. I'm in go mode, motherfuck the thief. In these streets like EBT, when we at war, make peace with me. I don't give a damn, understand. Fuck who stole this land, white or black or tan. Understand, it's fuck who stole this land. Might have seen me get a little buddy these hands. He wasn't no abo man. A lot of these dudes is Sambo man. They full of shit like my ammo can. What they call an N-word out the wrong mouth as an ambulance. Wild Indian, get it in advance, or you can post date it. Ask around, I'm the most hated. Straight sacred, they stole acreage. Go ape shit, show ain't shit. It won't be televised, I don't tape shit.
Be the B, I just pulled up in the need for speed. Free the land, tell the colonizers that they need to leave. Wild Indian up in my veins, you know how we bleed. You ain't gotta lie about who we is, dog, just keep it G. We at war, we can't keep the peace. Since we at war, gotta keep the peace. Whack a cone, then I meditate. Should I need to breathe? Keep a Olmec head when we slide, dog, cause we the shit.